So we are doing this. I was trying to find a way to put my camera and the light was behind me, so my camera is on my couch. I'm no professional here, and I'm just hoping that my camera is not gonna fall off, but we are doing this. I put earlier this week on my Instagram Q&As, just the NGL, the one that is anonymous, because I know people loves or not as shy to ask questions through that. And I love Q&As on Instagram, but I decided to do it for YouTube this time just because it's easier for me to just elaborate questions and answers and just kind of like express myself a little bit more than just in a story. So I thought it would be fun. Last time I did a video, I think it was in Florida, so it's getting better, but I haven't been keeping up since. But a lot of exciting thing is coming up, so I'm gonna put a lot on YouTube, or at least gonna try, but it's gonna be much more exciting. So when I came back from Florida, I was just a bit in a down, was kind of like in the middle of like trying to figure out, or like pretty much waiting on my health to get back on track, just seeing how just like waiting on blood result pretty much, just to make sure everything was in check to start prep. So I was kind of like in a, I don't know what I'm doing, waiting to see if I'm starting prep or not. So we got the okay, so I actually just started prep, but I'm gonna go through those questions. I actually haven't looked into any of those, so it will be very spontaneous, so I'll try my best to answer them really well, and not extend my answer, because I'm good at just repeating myself. First question, have you ever had any surgery? So luckily I never had any injury or anything. I did have surgery for my breast implant, which was, I would say, 5 years ago, and it went super well. Went back to training like 6 to 7 weeks after. Mine are under the muscle, and they are, I think, 400 cc, which is actually the perfect size for me. Obviously I'm like a bit more muscular, and I've always been a bit more like broad shoulders and everything, so when I lean down, they're the perfect size on me. When I gain weight off season, they appears to be smaller, but they are perfect just for like training, and just I don't want them out there like all the time, especially not training, so I love them. Best place to get pre-post cum blood work done in Toronto, or what to ask a doctor to test, especially if you go to your regular doctor? I mean, there's a lot, but like I would just do like a full like testing. You go through your doctor, or like here we have Life Lab, which is, there's probably a lab like anywhere also, like either if you're in the States or anything, that you can go through like really easily and you get the result really fast. One thing with blood work is really important to get done. Even you can do it in prep too. Like I would do it like before starting prep, just to make sure everything's fine before you start prep, and then even in prep, just to see like when you start compounds and PEDs, just see like how it affect your body, or like if it's great, and how you respond to them, and just to make sure that everything still stay very like perfect throughout. And then after a show, and obviously those numbers might change a little bit with being on PDs, but as long as you do your test after, and like after, I usually love to wait like 4 to 6 weeks after, just to let everything chill and rebalance, and then I go to do a test. But I do think like 2 to 3 times a year at least, well, at least 2 times a year is very important, especially for longevity in the sport. Dealing with hormonal changes when losing period during prep. Also, any tips on dealing with being a bit nervous about being on stage for the first time? It is a really good question. So actually, I moved in Ontario 3 years ago, and when I moved here, obviously I didn't have a family doctor here. So I just went to get like a family doctor for the first time, and I haven't had my period for over a year. So last time I had them, I believe, was 2021 in December. And it's always been something like I've been prepping a lot, and some girls still have their period during prep, some girls still have them on stage, or some girl like just lose them. I mean, usually always lose them when I get in prep, but when I get back of season, usually I used to get them back after a month or two, and obviously I gain enough body fat for me to like, for my body to be able to like have them again. So for me not having them, it's a bit concerning. So it's always like something to like look into. So I went to my family, like my doctor now, and we're doing some tests. So like it's just like it's something that you're gonna have to like see with your doctor, do like blood work, but it can take a long time. It can take like up to like a year to like get them back sometime, depending on like what you may have, or like if your hormones are imbalanced. So it is something to look into your, like with your doctor, if like they don't come back. But it is it can be normal that you lose them in prep, so don't be too scared. Just to make sure to like do blood work and just make sure everything is balanced and like fine. For the other question, tips on dealing with being a bit nervous about being on stage for the first time. So first would be posing. Just pose until you feel so comfortable that like when you'll be on prep, it's going to be so natural. If you're confident with your posing, you're going to be much more confident like going on stage. Obviously, I still get stress every time I get on stage, and I think it's something that's never going to go away. And I think that stress can be a good thing when you can deal with it and control it and put it in your advantage. Stress is not something negative, can be positive. There's good stress. I think it's just learning how to deal with that stress, how to be able to like calm yourself down when you feel stressed. So like if for you it's like backstage, and obviously it's your first show, so you don't know, you never experienced backstage or anything, but in day-to-day life, if putting on your AirPods and like listening to like music calms you down, do that. If it's like laying down, closing your eyes, visualizing, do that. If it's like talking to your mom, texting your mom, your best friend, do that. So just find what can like calm you down and bring you at peace, and just try to like bring that into backstage. But yeah, the more you pose, the more you're gonna be confident, and just try to like visualize. And like the for me, what I always tell myself when I'm backstage, and that was a big thing before my first pro show, I was like, I didn't have pressure through the whole prep, but before going on stage, I was like a bit stressed, obviously. And I just told myself, this is your moment. You got to realize it's like the work is done at that point. You need to have fun, because if you're stressed and you're not going to enjoy that moment on stage, and all those weeks you've worked for are going to be such a waste. So just before going on stage, I'm always telling myself, live in the moment. It's your time. The stage is yours right now, and just have fun. It is your moment. So it's a lot of the mindset you're gonna have going through it. Someone's asking, and I know it's like a big topic in terms of like competing figure, or like whatever like category you are in, but PED'S. So someone wants me to talk about PED'S and women, and what is my experience, and what do I need to take. Oh well, if you need to take PED'S to compete at a high level. So I would say like most likely yes. Most of the girl, and like in any sport you do, if you want to compete at high level, you're gonna get to a point that you're gonna need, in bodybuilding, like if you want to get it is gonna be really, really hard for you to compete naturally against girls who are not natural, if you wanna get really high up. Obviously, there is exception. There's girls with crazy potential, crazy genetics that are natural, like barely have to take anything and can get really, really far. But in terms of like in general, like it is gonna bring you to the next level in a certain way. Obviously, intensity of like training, intensity like and just diet and everything is gonna be the same, and you're gonna have to put as much work. And in terms of like what do you need to do a lot or not, like it is up to like you and your coach. I don't think you need a lot, especially as a woman. Longevity in a sport and remaining obviously feminine is really, really important. So for me, it's always going to be femininity and health first. But yeah, hope it answer your question. How does your split look like? So in terms of split, I've tried many things. I've tried like 3 day on, 1 day off. Right now I'm 5 times a week, so I'm resting on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and there's no like right or wrong. Whatever like fits best your schedule and whatever works best for you. So I've done last year, like through my pretty much a whole year, I've done 6 times a week and like resting once, and I've liked it very much, because it's just you always want to train, but it got to a point that like I was like getting like really tired. I was like, okay, like I need to rest more. So like I got back to like a 5 day split. Sometime I'll throw an extra workout in there. If like I didn't train arms, I'll just do arms in a different day. But split is really depending on like your goal and like what you have to bring. So obviously my split is gonna be different to like a wellness girl who has to train glutes or like hamstring 3 times a week. So for me, I always make sure I train legs twice a week. One's going to be more quad focused, one's going to be more hamstring focused. I always done it like that. It works well for me. And I need to bring up my back a lot, so I'll get 2 back workout in. And so the way I do it right now is 1 week I'll have 2 shoulder workout and 1 back, and the other week is going to be the reverse. I'll have 2 back and 1 shoulders, but always have 2 leg day in a week. So that's pretty much how my split look like, but it's very up to like what you have to bring up. If you have to bring up your shoulders, throw more shoulders. If you have to bring up your legs, throw more legs, as long as your recovery is optimal. Okay, next question. Do you think it's important to have a partner that is into bodybuilding or fitness as well, or does it not bother you? So I don't think it's the matter of like being in bodybuilding or fitness or competing or not. I think is like when you find a partner, it just needs to have the same value as you. Have a partner that can support you no matter what you do, no matter what they do. So I think it's being able to like support each other. Obviously, usually you find like a person that match your values, and like for me, bodybuilding is like a big part of my life, and even the day I'm not gonna compete anymore, fitness always gonna be a part of my life and one of the biggest part. So it is really important for me and my values to have someone who is healthy and like understand that lifestyle and can like live it as well, right? Doesn't need to be into bodybuilding or anything, as long as he understands me and he supports me. I think of like a partner is like, I see a partner as like a teammate. It needs to be like in your team no matter what, and you need to be in their team no matter what. So I'm not out like just here like looking for like who's bodybuilders like available. Like no, it's gonna happen like organically, like when I'm gonna meet someone, either it's a bodybuilder or not, or I think it's just gonna be, you usually meet someone in your day-to-day life. So like most of the time I'm at the gym or in like fitness related. So yeah, I think it's like the only importance is really being able to have the same values and like understanding each other and supporting each other in any kind of sport or thing they do. Okay, I know you're not a mom, but what tips would you give a mom to try to balance fitness, bodybuilding, and family? I find that really interesting actually. I think it's like everything is about balance, and I think in any like situation or like if you have a family or partner or anything, you always I think it's really important to like have time for yourself and keep make sure that you have still time to like your alone time. For me, it's something I'm never gonna sacrifice because I think when you're actually alone and spending time with yourself is where you understand a lot of things, and you like grow a lot. And I think it's really about like balance and schedule. So like make a schedule for yourself that's gonna allow you to have your like stick to your goal and be able to like achieve them. And it's all about choices. So I know I know many like women who are like moms and they are competing or like in very good shape or like in the fitness industry and they do very well. By example, Anne Marie, which she's from Quebec, amazing athlete. I know her from like years ago and I admire her so much. And I'm gonna link actually her Instagram here because I think you can learn a lot from her. She's very active on like Instagram and she gives really good tips and everything on like balancing everything. She has two beautiful kids and I know her from years ago when she didn't have any kids and she was figuring like in bodybuilding, and then she got pregnant, had her two kids, and she went back to competing in wellness and she won her pro card and she's doing amazing. So I think it's everything is about priority, but also like make like fitting your lifestyle with your family life. So you can still do activities and stuff that doesn't stop you from your goal. Like you can bring your meal, you can choose healthier option. Obviously your kid won't always eat like 100% healthy or the same thing as you, but you can they can have their McDonald's here and there, and you still can have your meal. It's all about choices and just scheduling that hour in that day in your day that like it is your time for yourself to go to the gym and get your time for you and then go back to being a mom after. But I think it's all about schedule, time management, and just making sacrifice and mixing your lifestyle with your family lifestyle. So go to the park, bring your meal, or bring a healthy meal. There's always ways. Okay. Has there ever been a time where you felt like your physique wasn't built enough to prep again? How did you overcome not feeling ready? To be really honest, I don't think it ever happened to me. Just because I don't know, every time I prep and there's years that like I prep like many times or like didn't have much time to improve in between. But one thing with me is I'll still improve, I'll still like improve in prep. So any show I would do, I would be improved. There's prep that has been like short in a way that like I was 8 weeks out and like I was still I still had to push a lot because I didn't know if I would be ready in terms of like conditioning. But I think you just have to be realistic with yourself. If you start prepping, you're like, yeah, I don't think I'll have an improvement, and like I don't. I think I should keep growing. Just go back to the drawing board. Realistic in terms of like your goal. You were like, I feel like we're like really fast jumping into another prep, another show, because obviously it's exciting and obviously we always get more like depending on like where you are in your fitness journey, but we get a lot of traction when like we're lean, like it's the fun part, right? And like I'm gonna say that like even for me it's hard to like be off season for a long time. I get lost. Right now it's the longest time I've been off season in probably 3 years. It's been 4 months. 4 months or like 4 months and a half. And just before starting prep I started to feel like I'm like, what am I doing? I'm like, I feel lost. I'm like so I think it is the hard part, but like if you feel like you need more time off, like take it. It's gonna be so worth it. And like the first year I competed was like a long time ago, but I did took 3 years off before competed again. And like a lot of like a lot of time nowadays, like everyone who does their first show, they're really really fast on like jumping into another prep, another show, because it's a cool thing to do. But you got to be realistic with like where you are in your journey, and like where is your physique and how much time you need to like improve. So get a coach that is like really really honest with you, and just take your time. Like don't forget that like bodybuilding is like, it takes time, and it's like longevity. And the more time you take to build your physique, the best and the more like the better looking, the best, and like the healthier physique you're gonna have. Okay, favorite glute building exercise. So to be honest, like glutes, I've maybe like years ago when I didn't know much about bodybuilding, I would probably do a bit more like glute work. Since I've been like competing in figure, I don't really think I've done any or like much like glute workout work. I build most of like glutes with like heavy leg workout and like hamstring. But I'll do like with hamstring right now, I'll do like a couple like glute stuff. I always like start with gluteator, which is like just outside glutes work, just more so to like warm up. And I would always like go towards like hip thrust and stiff leg deadlift, or like seated leg curl, which is most likely hamstring too, but I don't do really much glute work. I've like built pretty much glute through leg workout. Least favorite part of coaching. So if you guys don't know, I train people in the gym, so I always also do coaching. So I don't know if it's online or like in the gym, but I think the like least favorite part, it's hard to say. Like I love it. I like enjoy it. Like I love I love just seeing like people like pushing their like limits and everything. I think my least favorite part is just the coaching online, which is hard to like know if someone's like truthful. Like they're telling you the truth. Like it's just hard to like, yeah, they can say, and you're trying to build a connection with that client, so like they are able to be like very very transparent with you. I think the least favorite is like when you can like want it more than like your clients, and or like they're not able to like see like the potential they have, or like all like great or like good they're doing, and they're always like beating themselves up. But other than that, like I love it. I love seeing people progress. I love like creating those connection with my clients, and I'm very very fortunate with my clients, the client that I have. So yeah, I'm very happy. I'm taking on clients like also right now like lifestyle, so like I'll put the link below. But yeah, I'm so grateful for what I do. Ooh, I love this one. Oh, do you get through the days that seems impossible in prep mentally? It is such a hard question, because when you get to that point in prep, there's like some days get so hard that like literally you're like questioning yourself, why you're doing that to yourself, why are you even doing this, is it even worth it? But those days are the one that like build you, or builds you, and make you like so much stronger. And I know it sounds like so like oh my god, my words, I'm missing my word right now, but it sounds so like cliche, but it is very true though. The hardest it is, like you're gonna wake up the next day like so feeling so powerful and like so like empowered, and same thing as like bad days make good days. Well, that is literally like true. It's like if you had a really hard days in prep, and like some days you're gonna like hate yourself, the next day you wake up, if you went through a really hard days, like it's like the next day is like nothing. It's like, oh yeah, I'm good, like I can do this again. Like, and I think you just constantly have to, like, on hard days like that, just like go back and ask yourself like why, and just like refocus yourself on the goal, and just like yeah, like remind yourself what is the end goal and why it doesn't matter so much. And I think that like the biggest thing for me is like when I have a hard day, I'm like telling myself like I've gone through it before. If I've been able to like go through it in the past, I'm gonna be able to do it again. There's gonna be hard days. It's just gonna build you, and like it doesn't get easier, but you definitely get better, and you learn, and like yourself, and you learn a way to like cope with it and to go through it. And like my biggest thing, go to bed. Go to bed early. Take naps if you need, read a book, do something to like take your mind off of it. But yeah, just remember like the work you're doing is other people are working as hard as you are. So do not take any oh my gosh, shortcut. But yeah, that is it for today's Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed. I really love doing those. Actually, I always like dread them. Like I push them, and I get to a point I'm like, okay, I gotta do this. So I'm very happy I did those, and I hope you guys liked it. I'm 22 weeks right now, so I'm gonna be sharing a much more close up to my prep this time. I'm thinking of like buying a new camera. I know I keep saying it, but I'm for real this time. And we're going to Quebec in about 3 weeks. So I'm very excited for that. And we're gonna stop in Montreal and Shop Santé. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. So I'll try to like bring you through like that as well. And I, one of my best friend, we booked, it's so off topic, but we booked tickets for Metro, which is a big festival in Montreal, and it's actually happening the day we're gonna be there, and like the day before we're going to Quebec. So, and Kilroy is playing, and I'm like a huge fan of Kilroy. So this year is all about doing more things for myself, and doing other things outside of like bodybuilding. Well, like most of it is gonna be bodybuilding, but do a little bit more things for myself, and do things that I wouldn't do usually. So I don't think I've ever gone to a festival, or maybe once. So I'm excited for that. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, I'll be bringing you more along, and if you guys have any suggestion of like videos or anything, just comment down below. But thank you guys for bearing with me, and I'll see you very soon.